here's more. So our series on real estate, what's happening around town, what's happening in Las Terrenas, what's happening in the DR. So today we're going to talk about the buzz, the Las Terrenas buzz, the DR, real estate buzz, what's happening. So not so long ago, this country was kind of, I think, overlooked and sleepy, and no one was really paying much attention to the DR outside of like vacationing in Punta Cana. That's pretty much all it was, unless you were kind of in the know back then.
Yeah, yeah.
Things have changed dramatically, as you may be aware. So there's lots happening, right? There's lots happening now. In town. We can start with Las Terrenas, right? By the way, this is Patrick, if you haven't met Patrick yet. Patrick is one of my partners down here, one of my real estate people. Absolutely the go-to guy. If you haven't seen the series, you want to check out all the details about Patrick, but he's super knowledgeable about how this whole thing works and all that. So won't go into all of that here, but absolutely a trusted person here in town. But Patrick, so tell us, so here's the thing. So I work with Patrick. So there's two websites you can check out. One is called LasTerrenasLife.com, LasTerrenasLife.com, or GoDominicanLife.com. Both of those have loads of information about the properties that are available all over the country. They've got listings all over. So, but let's talk about what's happening first in Las Terrenas, right?
Sure, yeah.
So what are you seeing?
Well, I guess, look, sort of my role in the company is to support, train, and organize our 3 different offices and our 5 divisions of our company. So I'm on the road Monday to Thursday afternoon, and I always come back by 2 o'clock on Thursday afternoon because Lucien, what is 80s and 90s
Party man.
So I have to come back for that, the meeting.
Yeah.
So I get to see a lot driving around,
Yeah.
and what I've noticed lately is the current president of the country their focus has been at the tail end of COVID and then now is infrastructure and development. And not specific to like I'm not talking about a hotel and things like that, but things and projects that'll make a destination run more smooth, or transportation be more effective, or improving on runways at airports and things like that.
Yeah.
So sort of some examples in Samana.
Yeah.
Up in Las Galeras, if you've been to Las Galeras before.
It's about an hour and a half to the south or whatever of Las Terrenas.
When you go to the furthest point, and where the road literally stops.
Yeah.
There's now metal across there.
Oh, okay.
And they're putting a pavilion, because there was some really kind of shady, rundown, kind of really bad, gross restaurants and basic stuff.
I have some videos from Las Terrenas. From Las Galeras. It's super sleepy. It's, if Las Terrenas is too much for you, Las Galeras, you go to totally get away. Yeah. So there wasn't a whole lot there, but so now tell them.
So improving on the food service that's going to be up there, bathroom facilities and a pavilion for dining, etc., to make the tourism experience better. So that's up new in that area. Let's see, along from the airport here in Alcate to Las Terrenas, they've repaved and remarked everything.
So for those who don't know, many people fly into Santo Domingo, the capital. That's about 2 to 2.5 hours away from Las Terrenas. So it's a long haul if you're not accustomed to flying anyplace else. And for some people, there's another satellite airport about 20, 30 minutes from Las Terrenas, which was up until recently only available to Europeans and Canadians. I think it's like 4 hours direct from Toronto, right? Yep. But now they've been testing some flights from the U.S. market, a couple days a week, a couple different airlines. And so now tell us about that.
So other infrastructure stuff, because there's the weekend market, like Thursday afternoon to Sunday afternoon, is very big for people coming in the Dominican market from Santiago or Santo Domingo. And the president of the country renegotiated the toll contract with whoever built the tolls and all the range of that, and reduced it by 20 or 25% or 30% range anyway, and reduced those tolls.
Okay.
So the round trip, it's not a lot in the end of the day, but it's another positive thing to talk about in this country.
And for people who come on a regular basis, it does add up. It helps.
Other infrastructure things that we just saw this week, the airport in Puerto Plata, they're extending and improving on the runway to accept larger aircraft, 777, 747 cargo aircraft. So why that's important for the domestic market, for exports, fruit and vegetables and cargo and all that stuff can only really go into Santo Domingo and Punta Cana it can't land in Santiago or Puerto Plata because of the length of the runway.
Okay.
So it's funny, because I said this to Steve, for 10 days in May and 10 days in August, the airport in Puerto Plata is shutting down with no arrivals. Can you imagine that?
No.
Think of that.
Oh.
Because they have to. There's only one runway, but they have to
to
build it out
repave it
and
to make it
repave
bigger.
it and
Okay.
thicker,
All
or whatever
right.
they do with it.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's a big
Interesting.
deal for
That
the
is a
future.
big deal,
For
yeah.
the future.
I didn't know that.
Other parts in, if you're in Santo Domingo, in the District Nacional, there's a huge Malecon right along the waterfront or the oceanfront,
It's like
Caribbean Sea.
for those who don't know, Malecon is like a walkway along the water. People hang out and everything. Yeah.
So that has been very popular for exercise and everything on the one side in the National District. But on the east side of Santo Domingo, they made that announcement. So they're repeating the Malecon this way, all the way towards Las Americas Airport, sort of that range, all the way into the town.
So for East, a lot of Dominicans, like locals, right, live in East Santo Domingo. That's just where like they live. They may go to work other places. More of the touristy stuff is in the Distrito Nacional and Piantini and those places, and that's where the Malecon is fine now. So he's talking about they're going to extend it out to where like regular Dominicans can enjoy this, which is really nice.
So I see all the stuff driving around all the time, and you realize the perception in most people's minds in North America is that the roads are terrible here, they're not safe, they're not marked. There's all those things, but being on the road all the time, the roads are very good.
Yeah, they're
very good.
I found that
There's
too.
only sections that on the North Coast at night, they're not as well marked, but on the major arteries coming north out of Santo Domingo or all the way to Punta Cana, they're better quality than Canadian roads, to be honest, because we don't have the freeze and thaw situations.
True, yeah.
So the government here, surprisingly, because the president is an entrepreneur background in tourism with businesses throughout Puerto Plata and Sisua, in the hotel business, that's the family background of him. So it helps when you have somebody that is at the head of the country that understands that tourism is a major deal.
Yeah.
Right? So we're going to see more of that. There's no doubt. I don't have I only see what I see published.
Yeah.
But I see what I experience around the
So I'm
country.
just sending a message. Señor Presidente, por favor, necesito un contrato con el gobierno porque estamos promocionando muchísimo ese país. He estado eso por como 4 años, pero vamos a hablar luego.
And I'll be the voluntary Gringo Vice President in 2024 when we run.
I'm saying we need a contract, right? We're doing all this promotion of the DR, but it's legitimate, and so like we need to have it. We don't, for the record, we are not being paid by the government to say this, but I just made a plug. Like we should be, because this is going to bring a lot of business to the country. I mean, I have some feelings, I have kind of mixed feelings about that because so many people come and the development happens, but the salaries for the locals do not match the rise in the cost of living and the cost of properties here. So. There's a plus and minus to everything, but there is absolutely lots of development happening. So
other positive stuff from here in El Cate Airport, which is 35 minutes from right where we are now to El Cate. American Airlines started flying about 6 or 8 months ago from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Miami too now.
Now they've switched it, so Charlotte is now not flying.
Oh, okay.
And they've launched the service twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays out of Miami.
Right.
Which is actually better for the Eastern Seaboard, because Miami's such a connection to everything.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. It's a
from the world.
Charlotte was tough.
You're coming in from South America and you want to come into El Cate.
Yeah.
Well, now it's an easy connection via Miami.
Sure.
And then if you're in New York, Boston, Washington,
California,
coming southbound,
you
can now connect in Miami rather than connecting in Santo Domingo and driving 2 hours and a bit northbound.
And paying like almost $200 for a taxi. So it's a nice benefit.
So
So we'll see.
And lots of businesses in town. Lots of little entrepreneurs coming from all over the world. Just a new one that Steve and I saw last week called what's the Gringo bar that just opened?
Garage bar.
Dos Gringos. Yeah, Dos Gringos. It's a sports bar and grill. He started with a restaurant called Senor Sandwich, right?
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
And right beside it's a new one. So that's great because it's another variety of things to do.
There's lots going on here.
Pescadores.
Oh,
here. We had the big giant fire.
Yeah, so I did a video a few months back where there was a place called Pueblo de Pescadores, which is a row, well, it was a row of restaurants, like all kinds of different, seafood and Italian and French and whatever. It all burned down back in, was it October or something?
Yeah.
September? Yeah, horrible. So it's just flat right now. But the government came in recently and they're reevaluating, I guess, what they're going to do. And
yeah. They announced the drawings, and I mean, what happened before was really sad because it was just one giant connected wood building with no fire separation.
Yeah.
So it was just light the fire.
It's like a tinderbox, yeah.
So now they announced it, and they're doing it the same section, but they're doing it individual huts, if you will. One here, one here, one here, one here.
Some space
and then
in between.
a walkway.
Oh, good.
And enough separation, so should something happen, they can isolate and put it out or whatever.
Hopefully, yeah.
And it'll give more of a real experience, a feeling of a real experience. Just like there are places right here. You have an individual hut, places to sit and relax, another venue.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know when they're starting it, but it was just last week when the Minister of Tourism they did their third announcement about it last week with the designs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So lots coming.
Yeah, so lots of positive
So that's
stuff.
Las Terrenas. You want to speak quickly about Sisua?
Yeah, Sisua. Oh, well, Sisua continues to evolve. Sisua has been known for two types of tourism.
I've spoken about one of them. You guys know what it is.
Yeah, one type of tourism which is called night entertainment for the most part.
It rhymes with prostitution.
Yeah, prostitution. And the other is a lot of retirees, to be honest.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So it has that dynamic. But of late, the last year and a half, you've had Marriott hotels have made major investments and promises of major investments, but they've closed on a few. The W Hotel was one of their brands. It's now open. It's a boutique hotel.
That's huge.
And the discussion, which is ongoing, which is not officially out there yet, but the Sisua Beach is going to go through transformation over the next few years.
They're trying to clean up Sisua is basically what it is, because it has a reputation now for the not so great stuff, but it's a beautiful area, and so they're trying to really make it nice, right?
Yeah, and you can't turn off the tap on one thing entirely and expect money to keep flowing.
Right, right.
So I think though they're trying to figure out a way to make everybody happy in a certain way.
Yeah.
Everyone to have a happy ending. Is that what I shouldn't say about that?
That kind of happy ending.
So that's another one. It's transforming it so that you can have an adult family market, couples market, nightly entertainment market for nightclubs and other things, and have sort of different zones. And it'll take time, but you have great leadership now in Sisua, according to people that live there.
Yeah.
And the government, the president, is behind it as well to make and bring it forward throughout the North Coast.
So let me say this. You see how much information Patrick has about Sisua. The company, Las Terrenas Life and Go Dominican Life, have offices in Sisua. So if you're interested in that part of the country, Sisua, Cabarete, Puerto Plata, this is your go-to, right? Because he's telling you what's happening. So it's a good time to invest, because once all this stuff goes in, you know what's going to happen, right? This is what always happens. You get in while the getting's good. Or at least you can find out, if you just want to do exploratory, kind of get some information, the link below will put you in touch and you can start to find out.
Last thing I'll say on that too is and what Steve covered earlier in another part of the series, but look, I don't care what city or town or state or province you are in the US or Canada, for example, but here the real estate entry is about 1/3 of what you're currently used to and wherever you're coming from when you look at the national averages in Canada or the United States. Look, California, an average home is like 1 point, 2 point, 3 point.
Oh yeah.
And here it's
hurts
0.2 or 0.3.
Yeah.
So it makes a big difference. So there is definitely value here. And especially when you look at North America, where the real estate market's been like this.
Yeah.
You can harvest some of the equity out of your home and pay all the money at once without having a payment plan here, and have two homes and one generating
That's the thing.
US
For
dollar
second
income.
homes, it's totally doable. So you don't have to just move here and be here. You can, spend part of your time here, have some rental income. So
it's a state of mind. It really is. It's a state of mind.
So
Thank
you, Patrick. I think, did we need to cover anything about Punta Cana real quick? Any buzz down there?
Well, Punta Cana is just Punta Cana. Punta Cana is literally the all-inclusive paradise, and it will continue to be that. it is your typical 1 and 2 week mass market tourism, just like the Bostitution market, as we talked about earlier.
Yes.
That is a different form of tourism, and it's not for everybody, but
right.
it's the great way to introduce yourself to this country.
Yeah.
And then when you come over and over and realize there's life beyond the resorts, we need that. I call it the shark tank, because we want people swimming in the shark tank, and then they need to get out and then explore and understand that, you know what, it's just as better or better than being in a resort to be among the regular everyday Dominicans that are kind and friendly and generous. So that's my opinion on that.
Well,
Punta Cana has its place.
It does have its place, and I'll say I have some clients. Some of you guys have contacted me and have actually purchased in Punta Cana. There's one guy who's building an apartment complex down there, and you know it's a great entry point because there's such a market. Like you're not going to not have people rent from you. So if you're interested in Punta Cana, again, got an office in Punta Cana and can share with you some of how those developments are going and you know what an entry point looks like in terms of the finances involved. So
my favorite part of Punta Cana, like Eugenio on our team, he just flew nonstop from Bogota, well, from
Colombia,
from Buenos Aires, Argentina, to Bogota, and then nonstop Bogota to Santo Domingo. But sorry, I meant to say Punta Cana. But still, Punta Cana Airport is literally a gateway to the world.
It is. Well, it's the busiest airport in the country. People would think it's the capital, but it's not. Punta Cana is the busiest airport in this country because there's such a huge influx of tourism there, which means if you're talking about rental market, you got an automatic audience, an automatic, you know, clientele potentially. So.
And if you're speaking to a Canadian, we call it Punta Canada.
Huh?
Punta Canada?
That's what they say, but anyway, it's fun.
So anyway, now you guys have a bunch of information. Think about it, contact us, any questions, happy to help you.
The link down below, we can set up a time so we can get some time in our schedule that we can speak to you one-on-one to make sure that we can help you and answer your questions. The link's down below in the notes.
It is. Obviously, I'm here now, even if I'm not here, because I'm back and forth these days. Those of you who've already reached out to me know you can contact me wherever I am. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I love you. Have a great day. See you guys later.